What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the second installment of the year-long Loot Tab project. If you are new to the series and happen to miss the first episode, there should be a card popping up in the top right of your screen, which will link you right to that video. You can check out episode 1 and then come here and check out the progress I have made for the month of February. I go into a lot more depth in episode 1 to explain this series. It was a kind of long video. I don't really want it to be that long, so we're going to try to break it down a little bit shorter in this one. Before we check out February's loot progress, a quick word from our sponsor. Our sponsor is me. I have a merch store. It is on Etsy. Everything in this merch store is all old school RuneScape related. It is all handmade by me in my office at home and shipped directly to you. All kinds of cool stuff in the merch store: beer glasses, pint glasses, coffee mugs, 4-in-1 stainless steel koozie tumblers, all that good stuff. Check out the merch store. There is a link in the description below. You never know what you might find that you just have to have. All right, let's jump into it. So, just as a brief description and overview of the series, just in case you didn't go back and watch episode 1, obviously I'm keeping a loot tab for the whole year. I'm using Konar to do all of my Slayer tasks throughout the entire year, and the reason for that being is I still need the Dusk Mystic set that comes from the Brimstone chest, so I figure why not just pick Konar for this one. Her tasks really aren't that bad, which obviously you'll see from the loot, and I can get a ton of Brimstone keys throughout the year. Try to knock that out when I'm done. I'm also saving all of my clue caskets, mediums, hards, and elites. I don't trade any of my clues in for masters. I just do the masters that I get throughout doing my other clue scrolls. I'm also keeping all of my dark totems throughout the year, and I will finish those off with Skotizo kills when this is done. The only thing I need left on that drop log is the Jar of Darkness, obviously, and I'll also get some extra clue scrolls from that, some hard and elites to add onto the stack at the end. So that's pretty much a brief overview of the series, obviously keeping the loot tab as well. And oh, one more thing. I am not spending any cash on what I'm doing. I'm actually using all of the cash that I get from using high alchemy on items throughout all of my Slayer tasks, and it has been going very well so far, so hopefully that keeps up. Now, I have actually talked to a few people that have approached me in the game that have seen the first episode, and a lot of people were asking me questions, so I actually started to take them down. I should have taken the usernames down as well, but I forgot to do that. So as for this, the questions are going to be anonymous, I guess you could say. These are just some of the questions that I've written down that people have had for the series, so I figured I'd answer them. So the first question, and this one gets asked absolutely the most, very simple: why are you doing this? I am doing this because of the aforementioned Dusk Mystic set. I'm trying to finish that out. The drop rate is 1 in 1,000 per piece, or 1 in 200 for any piece. So finishing the set up does take quite a few Brimstone keys, and I figure why not just commit to it, go for it, and by the end, hopefully I'll get lucky enough to pull all the pieces with all the Brimstone keys I get. I'm also doing it to make a good bit of money throughout the series as well. I am pretty much an item collector. I like to have one of every unique in the game, so obviously got to make money for that. By the end of this, I should have enough money to grab a couple more items to throw in the bank. Next question was, do you have a task list that you're doing? And if so, can you share it? Yes, I can. Actually, in the description in the video, I've listed out all of the tasks that I am personally doing. I do these tasks just for a couple reasons. 1, because I actually enjoy the task, and 2, because it does benefit me in some way. For example, Dagannoth's in the Catacombs of Cavern. Not a very good task to do, but I still do get the chance to get ancient shards from that, as well as dark totem pieces. So definitely got to have those for more Skotizo totems to get that Jar of Darkness. All of the other tasks in this, that's pretty much it. They benefit me in some way, or I just enjoy doing the task. So take that and use it as you will. Another question I saw a couple of times, people are asking, how much do you think you'll make by the end? I don't really know. I thought I would have a good idea after the first month, but the second month, which you'll see here later in the video of XP gains and loot and stuff, I think if I had to take a guess on how much I make, I would have to say probably around 1.5 billion by the end of this, all is said and done. Next question, how do you have the patience to do this? I honestly don't No. I've always been pretty good at keeping loot tabs and stuff in old school RuneScape just to see what I end up with. My YouTube channel actually started out with me doing videos for killing, you know, this monster for X amount of hours or X amount of kills, and I enjoyed that. So this series is like just a step up, and it's just way more than that. So it's really taking it like to the extreme, doing something for a whole year. Things that shake it up a bit are Slayer tasks. You know, you get something different. It's not always going to be the same thing. So yeah, I just kind of just enjoy doing it and seeing where the loot tab gets to. Next question, what will you do with all the money that you make? Well, like I said before, I do collect the items and uniques and stuff in old school RuneScape, so I'd like to have the best in slot of everything. I like to have, you know, just everything available to me for whatever I may need it for. So money is just going to be spent on buying more gear and items that will be useful to me in my collection log grind. Last question, and this one was a good one. Are you going for 200 million XP in a skill? I wouldn't say I'm going for it per se, but it is probably going to happen along the way, especially with some of the experience that I have gained this month. I actually didn't expect to see how much ranged XP that I actually got in this past month. It's pretty nuts. So I'm not specifically shooting for 200 million in a skill, but it's just, you know, gonna happen through the course of playing the game and keeping this loot tab. All right, so moving into all the stats and everything that I have done throughout the last couple of months. We'll go over all the stuff that I have taken down throughout the first 2 months. That is monsters. Check out the RuneLite loot tracker. There's a couple things I figured out about this. One, it says on the RuneLite website that if you don't kill something for 90 days, it will disappear from your loot tracker. Luckily, I haven't made it that far, but I assume there will be some bosses in here that I don't get to because they're boss tasks, and those probably will disappear. So this is more just for reference. And I also noticed that among the 3 computers that I am using to play old school RuneScape, they weren't all signed into the same RuneLite profile. So I've since fixed that, so it should update accordingly no matter which computer that I'm playing on. So let's start with monsters and stuff. Alchemical Hydra, right at the top of the list. I've killed 1,182 of those so far, according to RuneLite. Not a super lucky month for the Hydra, like literally at all. No Claw, no Hydra leathers. In the last video, I had killed, let me look at it real quick, if I can find it, 831 Hydras. So that was as of last month. So I killed over 1,000 Hydras throughout the month of February. No Claw, no leathers. I think the only good drop I got from this was adding in some dragon knives, 994 of those. 271 mil, according to RuneLite, is all the drops. And yeah, lots of stuff in there. So that's going to keep piling up throughout the year. Let's find some other interesting stuff in here. Skeletal Wyverns. I like this task. It's enjoyable for me. 891 of those for 11.6 million. What else we got in here? Some Rune Dragons. I do like to do those as well. Good money, 4.09 mil. Also, I'll take this time to say, I do use a Bone Crusher on all of my tasks for more inventory space. I don't feel like banking the bones. Obviously, 3,600 Hydra Bones would have taken this loot up by lots of millions, but I don't feel like banking those bones. So we're just going to chalk that up to free prayer XP from the Bone Crusher. I am doing all my boss tasks that I am assigned. Cowfight Queen, I only do 25 of those per task. So I got up to 100 of those. And what else do we have in here? There should be a Dusk in here. Ah, there it is. Grotesque Guardians. I didn't get any tasks of those throughout the month of January, but they did pile on here. And unfortunately, I hit this milestone, 5,000 KC. I just hit that this month. No Jar of Stones, the last thing I need on the collection log. Pretty salty about that. I really do not enjoy that boss, but I did kill 828 of them in the month of February. 42.8 mil on the loot there. What else? Ancient Wyverns, doing those because I'm trying to get that Wyvern Visage. That knocked that collection log slot out. I also do all my Iron and Steel Dragons, especially if they're assigned in the Catacombs of Cavern. Once again, for Dark Totem pieces. I did extend my Adamant Dragons tasks because I do need that Dragon Metal Slice also for the collection log. So might as well do those along the way, see if I can add that item. Abyssal Demons, I finally got an Abyssal Whip this month. That's the first one, so I've only got one in 1,655 Abyssal Demon tasks. Not looking too good on the drop rates there. And what else do we have in here? General Grador, had a friend go duo that with me, picked up a Bandos chestplate, ironically, on the very first kill of the trip, then didn't see anything else. And everything else you can see in here is mostly just your typical Slayer tasks. Dagannoth King, still doing those because I need Dagannoth Prime Pet to finish off that collection log. I did get some Phantom Muspahs as well as some Whisperers. Everything else, just your standard Slayer tasks. All right, loot time. So I'm sure that you noticed that stuff sitting in my inventory while we were talking about all of the monsters that I have slayed throughout the last month. So just as a refresher, I started this endeavor at exactly 45 million GP. All of the cash that I have made and I'm using to buy supplies all comes from high alchemy items from all of my Slayer tasks. Obviously, Hydra is the brunt of that. Hydra drops a ton of alchemical items. I actually kept a stack in my inventory, which I forgot to record for one entire task, and I ended up with like 6.2 million GP cash just from alching all of the items and the cash drops from Hydra. So at this current time, let us check that out. 29,738,844 GP is my cash surplus that I've made so far throughout the last couple of months. All of the runes are just, most of them are coming from Hydra, honestly. The Chaos runes, Death, Bloods, Astral runes, all from Hydra. Hydra just craps out all of those runes all the time. Wrath runes from Rune and Adamant dragons. The Soul runes, I don't even know where I picked those up, but I managed to get a whole lot more than I had last episode. 7,399 law runes in there as well. Those coming from mostly from skeletal wyverns and normal neckrail tasks. The potions there, I get the Ceridome brews from Grotesque Guardians. I pick those up when I have the inventory space when I am leaving my trip. All of the super restores are coming from Hydra drops as well as the ranging potions. Did go through my bank, made sure nothing else is stacking up elsewhere, but this is it. So let's throw it in the loot thing here. 74,349,076 GP from all of this. Let's get that in the calculator so we can add it to my other total. 76. There we go. 74,349,076 GP. So we got all that stuff there. Let us check out the loot tab progress, and we'll go right here. 273,406,599 GP is what we're valued at here. Now, I have made some significant progress towards my collections for the year. This month was pretty good for, you know, other stuff, clues and whatnot. I did manage to pick up over 120 brimstone keys this past month. So that was way better than the month before. I only had 85 in January. Doubled my dark totems, got 4 more of those in the month. Clue scrolls were decent, up to 6 medium caskets, 104 hards, and 19 elites. I believe the rate for master clues from that is 1 in 15 from hards and 1 in 5 from elites. So should be looking at a good amount of master clues when this is all said and done. Let's check everything else out. Now I'm picking up pretty much everything. You know, I pick up whatever I think is worth the time to pick up. Everything else just leave there. The herb stacks coming along very nicely. Hydra drops a lot of herbs, specifically Quorum, Snapdragons, Lanodimes, Cadentines, Dwarf Weeds, and some Torsals, you know, all that stuff that you can see there. The biggest stacks coming from Hydra. Seeds, I am picking those up. I did start highlighting them so I can actually see them and pick them up, add them to the loot tab. So that's pretty nice. Dragon fruit tree seeds, pretty rare from Hydra. So when I do get those, it's kind of sad days there. A lot of the ores and bars coming from Grotesque Guardians. 18,000 coal, 313,000 rune ore. That would be a lot. 313 rune ores. Mithril bars, Addy bars coming along pretty nicely there. Rune bars, not too bad as well. Scroll down, see what else we got here. Nice stack of magic logs, those coming from skeletal wyverns, and I do believe smoke devils drop a few noted magic logs that I do pick up. Battle staff stack is coming along super nicely. Most of these coming from Hydra, 2,298 of those. Other cool stuff in here. The Dragonbone stack. Dragonbone farm coming along very good. Those come from Hydra as well. 26.6 million GP. Would have been higher last month. They were up around 4,000 GP each. They've dropped off just a little bit. What else? Onyx bolts E, 1,492 of those. Dragonstone bolts, good stack there too, 7,204. And some of the unique drops down here that I am picking up. Shield left half got one of those, couple dragon axes, dragon chain bodies, some D-legs and skirts. Unfortunately, 2 Hydra tails, hate to see it. Did pick up another jar of chemicals, and I got a brine saber. That was cool. That task is pretty fast. And all of my other stuff in here and sold heads. And unfortunately, I just don't know how to get 2 halves of keys. And I will show you this as well while we're in here. Let us check out my collection log for the Hydra. I got 3 pets last month. 3 pets, no claws, no leathers. I got a jar and 3 pets and some dragon knives. Super sad days. Not looking good for the unique expensive drops there. So as we were checking that out, where is my total loot at now? Let's pull up the calculator. Plus 273,406,599. At the current time, I have made 347,755, 1,675 GP. I'm pretty sure I said that wrong, but my memory is like a goldfish. I don't remember. 347.75 million GP throughout the first 2 months that I have been doing this. Now, since there is 12 months in a year, if we multiply that by 6, I am on pace to make 2,086,000,000 GP by the end of this. And that is not even including everything I'll get from the Brimstone keys and the Clue caskets and the Scotizo kills. So that number could significantly rise if I am able to keep this up through the next 10 months of the year. God, I'm looking at the video time. I really wanted to keep this one shorter, but I just talk so much. I'm going to try harder next month, I promise. So let's get into the nitty gritty of the stats here. You may have noticed the platinum token stack there in the loot tab. That is all from unique drops sold. 120,164,000 GP from all of my unique drops sold this past month. So I have additionally added an Abyssal Whip, Duo Bandos chestplate, couple of Berserker's rings, dragon knives, and thrown axes to this list. Hoping sometime throughout the year I'll be able to add an imbued heart in there. That would be super nice. But yeah, I also have the amount of the drops that I've gotten there, as well as the profit that I have made from that. So 120 mil from unique drops. All right, last part of the video, I promise. We're going to check out my stats for experience gain and everything else that I have gotten through the last couple of months. So I did keep track of my starting XP on January 1st of 2024. As for February, got a lot of XP. I was actually able to play a whole lot more this month than I thought. Having this newborn baby, he's pretty much at the point where he just wants to eat and sleep. So I get to sit on the couch, watch TV, and you know, he just kind of sleeps, sits there. So 4.1 million attack XP gain, 434,000 strength, 382,000 defense, 4.7 million hit points, and check that out, 8.3 million ranged XP. Most of that attributing to the Hydra kills as well as the Grotesque Guardians. So 691,000 magic, 449,000 prayer, and 4.1 million Slayer XP. Get a lot of XP from Grotesque Guardians and the Alchemical Hydra. Tons of XP there. And at the bottom, not going to go through it, but you can see the total gains that I've gotten this year. As for my Slayer task streak, throughout the first couple of months, I have completed 187 tasks. And I'm also keeping track of my starting bank value and current bank value. As of right now, 8.309 billion. My bank value has gained 688,159,299 GP. This is not directly related to all of the Slayer drops that I've gotten. Obviously, items do fluctuate, so I thought this would just be kind of cool to throw into the video to see how the bank increases and whatnot throughout the year. All right, that's gonna do it. This video is way longer than I wanted it to be. It's way longer than it should be. I promise I'm gonna try harder next month to keep it a little bit more compressed. Fortunately, you can scrub to the video to get where you want. If you have any questions about the series and would like me to answer them, please leave them in the comment section down below. I will try to get to as many as I can, throw them in the next video, and I'll give you a shout out. Since you did ask the question, people deserve to know who you are. As always, thanks for sticking with me through the longer than necessary video. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. With that, I am out. Take it easy, guys. I will see you next month.